All right, it says preparing to live stream. Bear with me a moment.
There's now streaming on YouTube, at least on mine.
I got it also.
Yep, we are good to go.
All right.
All right.
You want to read that language, Tim, that you normally?
Yep, I just got to pull it up. Just a moment.
Me to call the order first, Tim.
Yeah, go ahead.
Being 10 o'clock or 10:02 a.m. April 1st, 2020, I call this meeting of the Freetown Board of Selectmen to order.
All right, pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions on the open meeting law, General Law 30A, Section 19, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Freetown Board of Selectmen is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort is being made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by accessing the live stream of this meeting on the town's YouTube channel. Instructions can be found on the event page for this meeting on the town's website, freetownma.gov, accessible on the calendar tab. A recording of this meeting will be posted on the town's YouTube channel as soon as we are good to go.
All right, David, I'll turn it over to you for some direction on the discussion.
All right. The first thing I just wanted to have Derek give an update, specifically as to what's happening in the community. I can add to that.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Just to give everyone an update on our numbers as of yesterday, we're up to 6,620 cases total in Massachusetts. The number that went up big time yesterday was we're up to 89 people that have passed away from it. 33 new people passed away yesterday. Bristol County is up to 306 cases. Freetown, we are still holding strong at 2. I talked to Lori this morning. We do not have any new cases as of this morning, so we are still at 2. The biggest news to come out of yesterday really was the governor's order extending the non-essential ban to May the 4th. And there was a little bit of news that came out of our reporting that we have to do in Maven. They kind of eased up the restrictions a little bit, so it's going to make it a tad bit easier as far as follow-up on cases. That was probably the biggest news to come out of yesterday. That's kind of where we're at.
Okay. I have been following just through the managers. We have a managers group, and just as a point of information to the board, a lot of the surrounding towns, we're in a fortunate position, but in a lot of the surrounding towns, it's literally exploding. I mean, it had gone from 1 and 2 up to 8, 9. To a high of 28 in one community. So this, as they mentioned last night in the presidential briefing, I think we're headed into the worst 2 weeks of this. And although we have low numbers now, and I'd like to believe that we're going to continue on that path, I think that we're the exception rather than the rule. And I think we need to all be prepared in the eventuality that the numbers increase exponentially or substantially over the next 2 weeks.
All right, yeah.
Comment or
Comments or suggestions?
No.
all right. The other thing that happened yesterday, we did have a finance team meeting. We spent 2+ hours reviewing our financial position, and we are not in terrible shape, but we are putting together, we're going to be meeting with the department heads tomorrow. We discussed line by line where we think cuts could be made in each of the individual departments. We're going to be talking to each individual department tomorrow as part of the department head meeting. We have found potential areas to freeze and or produce savings There are going to be some decisions that are going to need to be made, particularly relative to the May 1 commitment and whether we want to extend that out by a month, which could be problematic, or whether we may want to consider keeping the May 1 commitment date in place and just waiving interest, which the board can do, so that people, the bulk of our commitment, better than half, I guess, comes in through 3 providers that are taken through banks. One is Wells Fargo, Loretta, and Core Logica, and they collect money from the banks collect money in escrow, and it gets paid out through when people make a payment on their monthly mortgage payment. So if we get that portion of it, it's going to be a good thing. However, there could be a lag in certain kinds of receipts. And the bottom line is I want to have a discussion about this on Monday after we're going to be working it through to Monday, and then have something to present to the board so that we can all talk about where we are and where we're thinking about heading. So that's sort of an update on a financial front relative to the virus and in our financial standing.
Okay, anything else?
Nope, that's it. That's the only other thing would be, well, we had talked about an executive session,
Right.
and once again about the status at town hall, which I'm not so sure we can talk about it in the public session also.
All right, if there's nothing else, then we'll vote to go into executive session. Tim, could you read the reasons for the executive session for the record, please, if you have?
Yep, just a moment. Let's see, where is it here? Working on a much smaller desktop, so it's a little much of a challenge sometimes.
Are you in town hall?
No, I'm not.
All right.
Town hall is closed. Let's see. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Paragraph 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the Freetown Police Association, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body if the chair so declares. And also, same exemption to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the Freetown Full-Time Firefighters Association, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares, if the chair declares.
It will probably include town employees as a union, because the other issue regarding town hall and other town buildings.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Mr. Grunwald?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan, yes. Okay, we will not be re-entering into. All right. Tim, tell us when to go.
Yep, I just cut off the live. Goodbye, YouTube.